Here we go. It's been a long time coming, but we're here, we're ready. And it is, as you say, Gambit versus INDE IRAE here on Ancient. And let's get into this pistol round, because Gambit, they've gone for a rather decent amount of utility. A couple smokes, a flash, a molly, and a P2 Fiddy for Nafani to try and get a few of those longer range duels in their favor. Meanwhile, INDE IRAE, they've got the 5 USPs, they've got a kit for Railway. Davcost is going to be trying to look for an opening shot, but he's smoked off, has to back away as X5 is looking through his smoke, or trying to shoot through his smoke, I should say. He's not looking through it, that would be cheating, and now Davcost is going to finish off a first kill, denies the bomb plant, but look at the space that Gambit have been able to find over towards the house, catching Frisk on the flank. Shiro, nice frag around the edge of the smoke. He's been a key performer for this Gambit side recently. One of the top players in the world right now, and now he's going to have to do more, but never mind. Florian's taken off his head, and that leaves Hobbit alone in a 1 versus 3. Can you do anything at all to secure this round? Not if X5 is going to take him down like that. First round goes INDE IRAE's way. Good start for them.
Not the start that Gambit were looking for, I can tell you that much. But they do get that pistol for INDE IRAE. So best case scenario, really, as they now can get the purchase up for themselves. They can get those MP9s, 3 of them, as a matter of fact. Can get the AUG up for Florian, and can get X5, or Steam Authenticator code, as I've seen him called, as the M4. I still love that. Steam Authenticator, X5, G7P. Oh, it's brilliant. It is just brilliant. I didn't think that the hive mind of Reddit and HLTV forums could ever come up with something so good. But it does get me. It does tickle me slightly. Either way, Gambit looking to try and clap back a little bit, Dan. But it's a little bit of a passive approach here with this kind of buy. It's just Shiro with the deagle and the armor. Everybody else is not really too deep into this one, so they're just going to let him try and do his thing. Unfortunately, it's not to be the case. Instead, Florian will clean up the rest, leaving just Nafani with only a Glock. Not really able to do all that much damage. Absolutely, completely wrecked. Taken down. Hurt Frisk with the MP9. Beautiful work.
Clean second round. Yeah, I like it. Gambit, however, obviously took that sort of full eco there. They're coming in with the stonks in round 3. They're going for the 5 AK-47s. A bit lacking on utility, though, you will say. Not as much as you maybe hoped for. Just a few smokes, a few flashbangs, a single Molotov. So they don't really have much to spare in terms of trying to create a fake or anything. They're just going to have to commit. And Hobbit actually uses one of those smokes to try and put out a preemptive molly into his position. That doesn't actually come. I think it actually missed, but maybe I saw that wrong, as already trades have been found. Inters goes down. Florian, in return, has been removed from that INDE IRAE side. But Davcost Railway, these MP9s are finding so much success over towards this A site. And in the end, it's INDE IRAE who come out with a 3rd now on the board. That was a bit of a bonus round as well for them, where they had those few MP9s that found a lot of success. And a lot of cash as well.
Well, we like that, Dan. We like lots of cash and lots of success. It feels good to watch, and you get that kind of... What was that? There was a very loud banging noise just come from my house there. I might want to go and check that out real quick, if that's quite all right with you.
I can run us through this one, as
yeah, please.
Frisk will be looking for a little bit of something with his MP9. Still obviously rolling with that weapon. Still just up against some pistols, but he actually gets gunned down by Shiro. Tech 9 finding success, finding space towards the house, and now a little bit of an upgrade for him as he can roll with that MP9. But Davcost is going to make sure that it doesn't get too out of whack early on here. X5 in with 1 as well, looking pretty solid for the INDE IRAE side so far, as they regain the advantage in this round, and they should be able to find themselves 4 on the board as well. But Gambit, they might be able to get a bomb plant here. That was probably going to be the overall aim for them here. X5, whoever catching that kill, means that there's no safe passage in towards his site, and now with Railway on the flank, he has a freebie onto Inters, and that is an easy 4th coming out in the end. Just hurt Frisk going down early on. INDE IRAE finding themselves 4, and a real a real strong lead early on.
I have returned. There is,
Yeah.
thankfully, no one is trying to break in.
Good.
A house across the street is having mass amounts of construction work done.
Ah.
So yeah, not to say that, you know, I really, casting Counter-Strike is scary sometimes, but I never expected that. Good lord, I was fully immersed inside of this enthralling Gambit game, and immediately my my lunch is starting to come out the other end. Anyway, INDE IRAE 4-0 up, Dan, comfortably as well, might I add, in the previous 2 rounds, looking very, very comfortable here. Gambit's still yet to throw them a bit of a curveball yet. And now with the full buy, they're looking like they have the chance, the opportunity to do so. However, Flowian is more than comfortable inside of Temple to take a very nice opening duel. Inters is going to reply, but that is not going to be a long-lived advantage. In fact, it's going to be reduced further into a 4-on-2 now for Gambit to try and convert. Flowian going to wait for these 2 players to stray into his crosshair, of which they have done. Inters gets another back, but it's not going to be long before X5 can take him right down and bring INDE IRAE their 5th.
This is interesting already. 5-0. INDE IRAE a strong start. And they're looking pretty comfortable in these rounds as well. They're not being put up under too much pressure. And I think Gambit, taking this pause rightly so, need a bit of time to discuss what the hell's going on early on here. If you let INDE IRAE get any more rounds here before you're able to find any of your own, you're going to be getting to a position that's really not desirable. You want to at least get a few on the board here before INDE IRAE start getting to like 7-8 round mark.
Would be absolutely ideal. Yeah, you can't let this half spiral out of control by any means. INDE IRAE here have a lot of wealth already. They have a lot of momentum already. And better than that, for all of these players, they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
They are not expected to win against Gambit. So you don't have that pressure on your shoulders at the moment for the INDE IRAE side. You don't have expectation. You don't have, you know, the necessity to make the major. You know, that's just a dream. Obviously, if you can get there, then that's fantastic. But it is expected that Gambit make it to the major. It is expected that Gambit dominate through this Group B at the moment, as they're the highest seed in it. It's online Counter-Strike as well. This is where Gambit have made their bread and butter, really, over the course of the last 18 months. So you fully expect them to be able to turn their fortunes. X5 just going to run away from that initial opening engagement, but he's not going to be too deterred from re-aggressing in Salts, as he gets a smoke and a flashbang combination back, as Hurtfrisk will return fire. Shiro taken down for the opening frag of the round, and Gambit once again playing from a man disadvantage.
This is ruthless from INDE IRAE already. They are looking actually just really, really well drilled here. X5 already 7-0. He's reversed James Bond. He's feeling good. And now they're going to try and shift their approach away from that B site and looking towards mid and towards A. Railway's got a pretty good position in towards Sniper's Nest if he's able to catch the timing on these couple players pushing him through Donut. But you can see that INDE IRAE are playing so passively. They don't have anybody inside of this A site. Flowian is now going to try and push in towards this temple yet again to try and find openings. He actually gets caught from Donut though. Inter's a great first shot and they're looking for more. This is great from Gambit now finally getting some success. Davcost on the ult though is able to recover it, and they are looking now in a 3-on-2, potentially 3-on-1. Missed shot from Davcost. Could have been huge. Axel's getting tagged down, but it's a 2-on-2, and the flank is coming a long way. X5, is he going to give it to you in a 1 versus 2? He needs to, but Axel is ready, and finally Gambit find a round, but it came at a big cost. That was almost INDE IRAE forcing it back. Davcost, if you'd found that third shot towards Temple, could have been the round there. Could have been the round.
Very much could have been, and probably should have been, really, with INDE IRAE's positioning towards that A site. They've been really strong in that position so far. There's been a few times in which Gambit have tried to overthrow them, and it hasn't been of the greatest success. Flowian has been particularly good inside that temple with the AUG in previous rounds, but not that time. already opening Gambit for Gambit is out towards the B site early on with a couple of players. It gives some minor pressure out towards middle and A with Axile and Hobbit. But it seems that Hurtfrisk, once again, as in the last round, is going to be the beneficiary of the opening frag. This time he gets traded instantly, though. Inters will not let that one go without saying anything about it. It's now in a 4-on-4. You imagine here for both these two teams, the pace of the rounds is going to slow down to a bit of a crawl. It's not going to be as much of a bloodbath here as both teams want to try and establish where the other is starting to kind of set themselves up. There's an interesting boost going on over here for INDE IRAE with the AWPer of Davkos just staring down, inevitably waiting for Shiro to stray into his crosshair. At the moment, it's not going to happen, but it is something to keep your eye on. And so it might not be Shiro, it might be somebody else just yet. Axile's looking increasingly like he wants to go for a peek, and it's a missed shot. Lightning quick shoulder bait there from Inters, as now the rest of the team starts to arrive for Gambit. Quickly, INDE IRAE are calling for their assistance, but there it is. X5 boosting over the top of the smoke. No return fire as of yet from Gambit. Finally, Shiro's able to offer up a solution, and thankfully, Hobbit's got one more too. Fake plant to try and bait out this boost one more time as X5 now swings out for it. Doesn't have the ammunition for the continued spray, and Inters will get away with the bomb plant. Now, Davkos just peering around the corner, ready to scope on in with the AWP. They still think this round is winnable, but there is spam coming on through. There's just that little bit of caution to be played with as Davkos loses his head right away. X5 surely has no business in this round any further and will get taken down from behind by the rotating Shiro. A great start now for Gambit as they really are starting to bed themselves in. That mid-round was pure Gambit perfection.
Yeah, Gambit just need to try and get a few more rounds here before INDE IRAE start firing back. I think, of course, with this sort of minimal buy, mostly, well, almost a full eco in some regard. You got blowing Davkos with no real cash to invest in this one. They do put X5 on a mag 7, so there's potential there, and a couple of Deagles, but yeah, Gambit should be able to find themselves a third here, no problem. And now just stabilizing a little bit. Although Ancient is a fairly CT-sided map, still think I think a 5-0 start was starting to get a little bit dangerous. So it's good that Gambit have now got themselves into a more stable position here. Barney pushed aggressive through the temple as they'll plant in towards this A site. And INDE IRAE are even going to really try anything here. Looking like they just want to see if they can find some players pushing for exit kills. Gambit might just give a couple up here. If they push further around the corners, Florian and X5 in potential positions to catch a player or two. So Gambit do want to be careful. Keep as many players as you can alive as well.
Oh, okay, well, there's the shotgun. That's revealed now. No chance on that one. X5 takes a meaty thwack from the HE grenade. Davkos falls to the bomb. Gambit find their third. So what was looking to be a bit scary at first for Gambit, as INDE IRAE were convincingly making their way through a few rounds, has now started to level out just a little bit. I think the need for panic is starting to subside. Don't worry, Dan, there is plenty of petrol. There is no need to panic buy. And there's plenty of rounds available here, so there's no need for INDE IRAE to panic buy either. They can take this one slowly, not worry about it too much just yet. So I think Gambit have already started to find what they feel to be a successful opening default. Little bits of pressure over towards the A site, which has now been completely undone, and most of the pressure over towards B, which used to be successful until Hurtfrisk was able to grab one frag. Once again, Hurtfrisk has been very good on these opening plays. He shut them down or traded himself away 1-for-1 with more information gained for the INDE IRAE side than Gambit are able to ascertain. Now, even Davkos feeling bold enough to try and re-aggress here. Inters surely not going to anticipate this as he rounds the corner. Oh no! You got too greedy! You got too greedy, Davkos! Inters quickly whips your head off. Thankfully, X5 there for the trade, but that was unnecessary. Oh, dearie me. That scared the living bejeebers out of me, more so than loud noises from outside earlier. But even still, Shiro and Hobbit now in a 2 versus 2, a winnable 2 versus 2, might I add, as well, as both players are kind of somewhat around this A site where Shiro and Hobbit are making their way to. Of course, there's going to be Flowian inside of Temple. He will be the only player to dislodge for a moment. They have a brief window of opportunity whilst X5 is not part of the picture. Flowian is playing this perfectly. He's just waiting, burning time off the clock, waiting and waiting until somebody's going to go for the peak, which in the end will have to be Hobbit. Now Shiro on 10 HP with the AWP. Not a chance, Sunshine. INDE IRAE get away with their 6th now, Dan.
Yeah, still looking pretty sharp on the CT side, we'll say. Not allowing Gambit to get too much here early on. And nice opening kill from Flowian, just playing behind that box. Hurt Frisk as well. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I know why Davkos wanted to find more, but yeah, it wasn't needed really. You could have just got that one-man advantage and just backed away. Instead, it ends up being a one-for-one trade, and I mean, you still come away with a round, so it's not that big of a deal, but just need to be careful. Just need to be careful. As INDE IRAE don't even have a perfect buy here. Railway is left on just a FAMAS. He's not going to be on a proper rifle, just that French burst rifle to try and combat with. The staff cost on the AWP is going to be under most of the pressure, and does he know they're already inside of the site? He doesn't until he gets his head blown off. Inters takes him out of action. The B site is secured by the T side, and now Hurtfriz is trying to battle his way back in, but can only manage a 1-for-1. As it's now left up to his remaining few teammates as they need to find an opening. I think Shiro spotted X5, but he still finds the shot with the M4. Okay, fair enough. Potential to get yourself back into this one with a smoke down towards the house. Nafani on very low HP as well. There's certainly a way that INDE IRAE win this round, but that molly makes life very difficult for the CT side. Nafani forces a smoke out from the CTs, and they're actually just going to hold the defuse. Inter's trying to spam through. He might think he's taking him down. They're going to get the defuse inside of the smoke. X5 gets a couple kills in the meantime to cover his teammate, but I think they thought they'd already taken down the diffuser there, but it was the player further back. And that's INDE IRAE just nabbing away a 7th round from the clutches of the Gambit side. You can see Inter spraying through, trying to find it. He can't quite get the lineup, and he gets that kill. Has to reload, but I think he's probably calling he's gotten the diffuser.
You think so, wouldn't you? You're spraying into that smoke, trying to stop the defuse. You get one frag. It's just not the frag you want, I'm afraid. So no need to continue pursuing it when you think you've got the defuser. But there is also no need to keep pursuing middle so aggressively, Hobbit. Railway has got you there once again. It's been a bit of a point of contention so far, and it's not really been working out for Gambit. And it's not about to continue here either, as X5 making use of this now double AWP setup to get another opening frag, another unanswered opening frag. Only now will Axile be able to find some form of a response. As Gambit slow the pace of the mid-round down a little bit now. 3-7, of course. This is needing to be big round wins from this point forward. INDE IRAE are actually starting to put themselves in a very, very strong position, Dan.
Oh, look at Flowian as well. Just misses the timing to catch Axile, but actually works out in his favor because Axile had a quick jet. Yeah, and now Flowian just gets a little bit of a tippity tap. I think if maybe the time was a little bit different there, Axile might have spotted him on that little cross across, but it actually works out for him, and a freebie kill coming through. These last couple Gambit players hoping to make any sort of mark on this B site. That's very aggressive. Frisk swings out very wide, doesn't expect to play towards a ramp, and pays the price for it as he tries to go for the shot. It does leave Inters on just a single point of health. But as the smokes start to fade, it's going to get very difficult for Gambit. They need to take these fights, and Shiro is going to do exactly that. Now a 2 versus 2 potential for the Gambit side to work out from this one. And with just 1 HP, Inters has just blown the head off of Davkos. That molly's going to make life a little bit difficult for them. Oh, thankfully for Gambit, Shiro is there.
Oh my god!
Oh, Inter just walks into the molly, decides enough is enough.
He's living up to the name.
This relentless nightmare. Yeah.
He's living up to the name. He's inting it truly. Oh,
Oh,
I don't think he was expecting it to spread quite that much. Just as soon as he peeks out, the Molotov spreads
yeah.
right to his feet. Oh, what a poor guy.
It's actually, I think it actually works out for the Gambit side because it pulls the aim away from where Shiro's going to be peeking from. You can see he doesn't quite get his aim reset back onto that position as Shiro makes the peak. So I think it actually benefited the Gambit side a little bit there.
Maybe.
In one way or another. But,
I think one thing to be said, though, here, Dan, is that in the IRAE, despite, let's just say that this map is CT-sided. Just let's play devil's advocate on that. I know a lot of people still contend it because you can have really good T-sides if you just get the overrun. But I think on the whole, with the way the map plays, it's CT-sided. This level of a CT side already for INDE IRAE, 7 rounds, just 12 rounds in, or even 11 played. It's already a very good start basis for you.
Yeah.
And Gambit have a lot of work to do. And you've already got, all guns blazing. Speaking of guns blazing, it's Davgos to get Nafani for the first frag. Nafani's woes go from 2-10 to 2-11. It just doesn't get any better for him, really. Struggling a little bit here on the outset of Ancient, but if INDE IRAE can pick up a round with just these Deagles, with just the Scout and the MP9, then this is going to be just cataclysmically bad for Gambit.
yeah, this is one you really need to pick up. Inters is going to try and equalize the score. Just around the corner should be the frag found, and it is. X5 is there, though, and with the Deagle. Nice refrag keeps INDE in that advantage, and he will give up control of Excavation. Oh, but that step was heard, and yeah, that's your demise. Just makes that little bit of a noise. Shiro knows exactly where he is, and as he tries to Scarpa, there's no escape. So a 3-on-3 is now Hobbit having a little bit of a look in towards the donut. His teammate's taking a bit of contact from the sniper's nest. That Scout still providing damage for this INDE IRAE side. He's tagged down Axel now, down to just 13 HP. Shiro's left on 60. Hobbit's the only sort of healthy player on this Gambit side right now. And potential for Florian with his MP9 to find big damage, big kills with this weapon because he's up on the boost. Are they going to check for him? He's going to peek into them, and he finds himself a double. Now just Shiro left alone. A nice 180 finds Railway, but there's no time. He's dull but done. Oh, he's going to get the fight. Oh, there was a chance. Florian gave him a chance there. 4 seconds on the clock, and he goes for the fight. That is relentless. Also a little bit brash.
I think it's bad. It's really bad from INDE IRAE to see that kind of lack of discipline. I mean, it still works out in the end, so they don't get totally punished for it. And of course, that is a force buy that they're not really anticipating to win. They're going into that with Deagles, a Scout, and an MP9 doing their best, and it has paid dividends for them. And now Gambit find themselves in a similar position. It's Tech9 City, and this makes me very happy. Tech9 supremacy, once again, it's back, baby, and you better believe it. 2015 all over again.
The Keck-9s are out in full force.
The Keck-9.
Are we just going to see Gambit rushing towards this B side? A couple smokes, a couple flashbangs to assist. Looks like that's the case.
Yes.
Davgos undeterred, and it's all going wrong. It's just easy for IRAE.
Yay!
Finally gets one, but it is just Axel left alone. 1 versus 4. Walking his way through mid. Might get a flank on a player here. Florian seems to be aware that there's a possibility of a player pushing through mid. You can see he's posted up looking for this now. So I think Axel's days are numbered. And unfortunately, that number is 0.
INDE IRAE down 9 rounds. I mean, when I woke up this morning, knowing that I was going to be casting Gambit versus INDE IRAE,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be after 14 rounds or 13 rounds, 4-9 to INDE IRAE.
Yeah.
Maybe I would be expecting that for Gambit, but not to INDE IRAE. I don't know what's going on here, but we are seeing something very strange. Florian has already got himself 14 frags. X5's got himself 17, and it might just become a little bit more here as Florian, Railway, and Davgos are all chipping in to help cover the cost of this round. It'll be Hurt Frisk, I'm sure, to finish the job, or at the very least, get one more as Hobbit cowers frightfully inside of a corner for X5 to authenticate the victory at 10-4. The Steam authenticator code has found himself his 18th frag.
Oh dear. Another buy though for Gambit. Potential now for them to.
It's not working though, is it? No matter how much they're buying, it's not working. I mean, I feel bad for Inters and Shiro. Both of those two players are currently doing very, very well. 13 frags apiece. But then across the rest of the team, Nafani, Axile, and Hobbit, and I don't want to be that guy, Dan, but together they don't even make up frags that Shiro or Inters has.
Not fun. Not fun. And already an opening for Davkos. Looks like we might have an 11-4 half. I mean, I know when we said it's CT sided, George, I didn't mean 11-4. I was more thinking like 9-6.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And now Hurtfrisk extending that advantage out a little bit further. And you've just Axel, Shiro, Hobbit to try and find a 5th round here. It's
I think
looking good.
I think one thing that can be said though is whatever INDE IRAE can do on the CT side, Gambit can do as well. They'll just need to go one step further, which is going to be even more difficult. You're afforded even less mistakes if you want to win the game in regulation. It doesn't at the moment feel like it's going to be all that likely that they're going to get a 5th here, as they're already down in a 5 versus 3, soon to be a 5 versus 2, maybe even a 5 versus 1. But Shiro is able to get one more with the AWP, but it is going to be all she wrote here as Hobbit falls. That is 11-4 for INDE IRAE. We'll take a break and see if the underdogs can pull it off in the second half.
And we are into the second half. Gambit now will take their turn on the defense, and for their sake, they're hoping they can really rile up a strong CT side here, because they're down 11-4 against the INDE IRAE side, an underdog in this matchup, but right now they sit on top. Inters will have a kit, a smoke to play with. Rest of the team just on the armor. Well, INDE IRAE, they've gone for a little bit of utility to play with as well. It's going to look like it's going to be just a play in towards this A site, but it's aggression from the CTs as well. He's actually met 1-for-1. Shiro just has to back away, knows his teammate's dead, and he certainly is, as now Shiro can play from the site itself, potentially find more. But look at Nafani on the flank. He could have huge amounts of damage. Instead, he's batted away. He has to back away from that fight. Takes a lot of damage early on, but now INDE IRAE have a passage out of that A main position, and they can choose where they want to go now.
Man, I don't like this for Gambit. They feel like they're very antsy already on this CT side, and this pistol could be so important for INDE IRAE. Let's just entertain the thought for a moment. They're able to pick this up and then subsequently resist the force buy that will come in from Gambit. That's 3 rounds. They're already up to 14-4. What an absolute mountain to climb for Gambit. They don't have a lot of mistakes to make, and they're about to have even less here. There's Nafani. Desperately needs this opening frag. He won't get it. It is X5 to bring it back. Inters with one more. 3-on-3 quickly into it for Gambit, but now Floian's round the back. He's got one headshot already, looking for a second. Why not make it 3? Absolutely. He and Hurtfrisk get the job done working together, and that is 4-12. That's the pistol round victory for INDE IRAE, and now they just need to resist this force buy down. That's all I've been talking about. If they can get this force buy dispatched, boxed off, it'll be an eco the round thereafter. It will be 14 for INDE IRAE, and this is just looking really, really funky for Gambit here.
Man, Floian's looking so clean this game. You just see it in rounds like that with the Glock there, where it's just like instant headshots, and it's been like this the entire game pretty much. He's been looking so sharp. He's been finding multi-kills galore, and now his team in such a strong position to take a huge upset victory against Gambit. Still plenty of matches to play, obviously, for Gambit to remedy the situation, but for INDE IRAE, any win is a huge one right now, as Gambit have actually gone for the force buy. Of course they have. They need to go for it. They want to deny 13 for INDE IRAE. It's a couple SMGs, a few pistols, a couple of them 5.7s, and a CZ for Hobbit, who's had a real stinker of a game right now. 4-14 for him. Nafani 4-15. They've really struggled. Exile 5-13 as well. These are the plays you need to be stepping up to assist Shiro and Inters in this sort of game. And now there's potential for Exile to do exactly that. Huge kill on the UMP comes through, and he's looking for more. Yeah. There's a second, almost trying to go for a third. He does decent damage to Davcost, but eventually he will have to get subdued. And now Hobbit next in line, another player who struggled, looking for more. And there's a nice kill. Finally, these Gambit players are waking up, and it's a huge force buy victory if they can convert off the back of this. Nafani's pushing deep as well, and he's looking for shots. It's a 5.7 that secures it. Davcost now left all alone. 46 HP, a 1 versus 3, and unfortunately he's going to walk into Inters' crosshair. But those few players I mentioned who are having a bit of a rough game, they're the ones who find the majority of the frags there.
Not able to convert for INDE IRAE, a much needed conversion to give themselves that soapbox really to stand on in this second half. It's going to be an uphill struggle for Gambit, but they can do it. CT side of Ancient, whatever INDE IRAE were able to do, they can try and replicate, and if not, go one better. They've already used their allocation though, really, of mistakes that they can make. They've only got 2 more rounds really before they can't win this in regulation anymore, and it'll have to go overtime. So already a nice start here for Inters, getting 1 and then tantalizingly close to the second, which he'll pick up just a little later on. Gambit CT side needs to be mercurial. There's no in between about it. Already Hobbit just peering around the corner to only get his head removed after taking the head of Floian. So Railway gets the AK-47, And now finds a frag with it. Oh, Lord, please, no. Not going to be another force buy back, is it? As they've now actually got themselves up to an A1S for Davkos 2. Both of these two players have armor, but Davkos is about to stray into Shiro's crosshair, and that will not be allowed. Railway, last player remaining. 1 versus 3. B site was temporarily open for access, but unfortunately there is going to be Nafani patrolling around the back of it. And on a relatively quick rotation path as well, Shiro is not too far away. So as soon as this bomb is even attempted for Nafani, you imagine, for Railway, you imagine Nafani will be here, calling for the assistance of the rest of his team. But for now, Railway just got to do everything he can to clear out this site to make sure he can feel comfortable enough with going for that plant. He's even just going to go for a peek, doesn't spot Nafani right away, and ends up losing his head for it. So Gambit gets 6, Dan. The comeback is real, potentially, as now INDE IRAE have to take an eco.
And this should allow Gambit a little bit more here. They should be able to find themselves a 7th round, which, I mean, still isn't great. You're still 5 behind the INDE IRAE side, and then the guns will be coming out for that T side. But it's better than going down 14-4. That's for sure. As the utility just carpets over towards that B ramp. INDE IRAE just can't push through the doors, can't get any sort of control over there. And now these M4s are in position to really lock this one down. You can see they clear it out. They know that INDE haven't pushed in, and they'll just back away. They'll just back away. They don't need to overextend. You can see Nafani pushes back in towards that B site. They do leave Inters chilling. He's on a bit of a longer range duel, which I think is fair enough when you're against the pistols, especially when it's against the Glocks. You can just have these sort of longer range duels with the rifles and usually come out successful. But even Inters is feeling a little bit shy from that fight. Fires a few bullets off, but then just backs away, deploys a smoke. Doesn't want to give up the opening kill, which I think would have been unlikely. But it sort of shows maybe what state Gambit are in right now, down 6-12.
Certainly is. As now, INDE IRAE just looking to try and negotiate their way in for a bomb plant here, I'd imagine, more than anything. That extra money is going to be extremely helpful for them. Inter's standing guard here has now got the assistance of 2 of his teammates in Shiro and Nafani. They're going to be waiting for when these players ultimately decide to emerge. They've given them all this space, so it's safe to assume that they will have occupied it. With 20 seconds remaining, it's only going to be a matter of time before they go. There goes the first face, and there go 3 more. And all but with a snap of the fingers, it is over. Gambit get their 7th, a very clean and concise round for them, not a point of damage taken. And they'll use that to try and pull themselves forward. Their trajectory has to be up from here. And so far, it's doing a pretty decent job. As INDE IRAE get the buyback in their hands, Dan. All the utility they could want is not really going to be available to them this time around. They're going to be pretty low on that. So expect to see something a little bit creative here. With only 3 flashbangs, 2 Molotovs and 2 smokes, some of which are already going to get expended off the break. I'm not really anticipating like a full-scale execute from INDE IRAE. Let's put it that way.
No, it's going to be about trying to secure yourself an opening pick to get yourself into a round rather than an execute in a 5-on-5. Right now, Winter's just trying to hold station over towards the excavation room, and he should be able to come out, despite a couple players being around his location. A bit of spam through the smoke and the wall. Bit of damage inflicted onto these 2 players outside, but he's just going to back away. Doesn't fancy sticking around once that smoke begins to fade, and now INDE IRAE want to try and take control themselves. You can see that they're dropping their utility to try and push forwards, and will now take control of that room. So they're just going to slowly work their way in towards this B site. You still got a couple players out towards the sort of A side of the map as well, just making sure there's not going to be too much aggression from Gambit elsewhere. But look at Railway. Oh, he could be in a great position here to catch a player unknown.
Euro's hearing a lot of this, Dan. He's hearing a great deal of this, and he's just going to keep himself tucked in toward the back of the site here. He's gone undetected so far, and now first phase comes in. Railway just puts him down. All the frags happening now inside of the site, and it's still resulted in a 3-on-3. Bomb plant to come in, but Nafani's looking like he might be up to some nefarious activity. Any second, he's about to try and press on through. This is a player on low HP in Railway. That's the first phase. A second comes on out, and X5 just too quick on the draw. Axel thankfully there to put him down, but still a rabid animal still hurts around the site. It's hurt Frisk looking for 2 frags. The first headshot presented, but Inters too quick. Both kits available for Axel and Inters as well, so no real worries there, as they're going to easily pick up the 8th round. A 2 versus 1 was never really on without that first frag coming in. Still, though, expensive for Gambit. Still a good round for INDE IRAE to get a bomb plant in as well, as their loss bonus is now on max stage. They're going to be able to get buys almost every round as long as they can get bomb plants with it.
That's a good point, because that's going to keep the pressure on this Gambit side. It's not going to be an easy run of things. You're still going to have to be facing these buys, but you can see they are lacking despite the sort of bomb plant here. You've got Davkost on a scout, a few AKs around it, a lack of utility yet again. Actually, this A site could be a very, very interesting point of attack for the INDE IRAE side, because the closest player to try and defend it was Axal. He now are rotating Nafani over as well, who's going to be over towards Temple and is into position just as they start to push forward. But does he expect a player up top? He does indeed get the kill, and now that's a huge, huge blow to this INDE IRAE push, and Nafani's still looking for more. Eventually gets taken down, but now with Hobbit sliding in, he's trying to remedy the situation. It's all in all, it's ended up in a 2-on-2. They can get the bomb plant down here in INDE IRAE, and they have an actual reasonable chance of winning this round, as Railway wants to see if anybody's going to be pushing from Donut. There isn't anybody. They're both coming from CT, and you can see Inters creeping through this Temple, looking for an opening frag. Hurtfrisk is so low on HP. If he just gets one of these players, that would be huge. It looks like his teammate's actually going to go all the way over towards B. Get that plant down. And you can see Shiro now starting to be aware of that. Hurtfrisk needs to make some noise to try and keep the players over in his direction. He's going to look for one. There's a shot coming through. You can see how that sort of alerts Shiro as the bomb's going to get planted. Hurtfrisk now needs to start the rotation, because Gambit knows one player over towards this A site. They know they can 2v1 if they get themselves in towards that B site, and a huge frag. Hurtfrisk probably could have won the round if he gets that one, but he goes down, does decent damage onto Inters, who will now wield the AWP, and it's onto Railway. First kill secured, spots a second as well. Shiro is going to try and backtrack around the other side in towards the site, but it don't matter, because Shiro is going to nail the head, and no kit. Does he have the time? I think he does. I think he's got the time, as Shiro will find the Gambit side a 9th on the board.
Just got enough time, but that is a difficult 2 versus 1 conversion there. There's a world in which Railway grabs that. I mean, Inters went ahead of Shiro with that AWP, just gifted it over, and as a result, nearly put that in a very winnable situation, just left it up to an aim. Pure trust in the aim of Shiro. As now Gambit find themselves closer than they have been in quite some time, Dan. 9-12, just 3 rounds adrift now of the qualifier team. Nafani looking to try and make his mark felt here. To be fair, so is Shiro as he defends over towards this B site. First face comes on in, and again, unfortunately for Shiro, a shot not going to connect. Thankfully, his teammates are in position, and he'll be able to snap up a few more. Looking hungry, but not hungrier than Davkost, who's able to quickly dispatch with Nafani, making this one a less fun. That HE grenade surely got to finish off Davkost. It does, right on cue. Hobbit lands it, dunks him down. Learned from his previous Gambit teammate in Doja. And the X5 flanking the way out now to try and win the round. Shiro's going to hold this one down with the AWP, but it is absolutely imperative that somebody like Floine picks the right time to go for this one. Never mind, the whole pick has just come apart, as now Floine is going to have to quickly hightail it back over towards the A site if he wants to have any chance of getting the bomb planted. And instead, Axar will cut off his rotations at the legs. 10-12 now for Gambit. The comeback is really on, Dan. Is it too early to start to believe? Because I am a believer now.
Well, I mean, we always knew that Gambit would be able to put up that better CT side, just the way that Ancient goes, but it still felt like 11-4 with a pistol round going in the IRA's way was probably going to be an almost insurmountable task. But that force by victory from the Gambit side has really, really opened this one up, and now you can see the sort of success they're having. They're going to be able to find 11 here with just a couple rifles purchased up from this T side, along with a few pistols. It should be a relatively sedate affair for the Gambit side. Inters doesn't fancy sticking around towards excavation. I think they were worried about a fast push in towards that B site, but now he'll start to push forward again to establish control in that room. Hurt Frisk is around the corner and does actually have an AK. One of the two rifles that the IRAE side have here, and it's actually going to find an opening. Huge frag to secure. That's an extra weapon they can pick up now, but they're just going to line up for Nafani. 2 very quick kills in succession, and he's even able to find more. He almost had a 4th. Florian's now left against the World and Hobbit behind him, not going to allow him to escape. An 11th for Gambit, despite an awkward start. So they're still trucking. They're finding the success. Huge frags from Nafani, though, lining up for him with the A1S. Nice flashbang as well, allows a repeat back in.
It's trucking along, Dan. And now this is, oh wow, this is going to be a fast take here from INDE IRAE. No time to even set the round up as Nafani quickly gets 1 frag to now try and blow them out the server. It has to be Hurt Frisk to go aggressive. He doesn't have the bomb in his back pocket, but thankfully his teammate does, and they're going to punch in those digits. Davkos gets off it now. 4-on-5 ensues. Hurt Frisk, flashbang to heaven and high come. Is it going to be just one player peeking on down into him? As soon as that smoke dissipates, he's actually going to be able to get him before it even does. Now Shiro holding towards the back. Gets 1 more for his troubles. A 4 versus 3, maintaining the advantage. Get 1 more for good measure. Shiro with a bit of a bouncingly strange Molotov there, has to go through it and around it. Tags X5 up, but X5 still holding strong. Shiro's just doing it all by himself. Why not, Shiro? Take matters into your own hands. Bring up 12 for Gambit. A 4K from the star player. 23 frags, and now Gambit are level.
Yeah, fair enough. They are pulling it back 12-12, and it looks like they are going to make sure they pick up that first victory in this group stage. We saw Na'Vi have a bit of an awkward, well, we didn't see, but Na'Vi did have a bit of an awkward time against Ave. I think they won out in the end. I think it was 16-12, if my memory's correct on that one, in that first match for Group A. Now Gambit looking like how they're having a pretty similar matchup here against the INDE IRAE side, as 5 AKs for the T's and a lot of damage already done. Florian X5, Hurt Frisk all taking decent amount of chip damage, so they're going to have to be a little bit careful. Another nade could finish off Florian. Hobbit's just going to stand guard over towards Sniper's Nest. M4A1S in hand. Seen a lot of a shift towards the A1Ss since that recent buff. A lot of players loving it now.
Well, it's cheaper, it does damage, it's suppressed. What more could you want? Fantastic.
One shot kill to the head.
Yeah, that might make it a little bit too good, so I'm kind of glad they haven't really gone down that route. Still, though, AK-47s are in play, and they are down that route. They now find themselves just patrolling around this... Oh, this should be a frag, surely. Oh, Shiro gets away with it. Gets himself back into the site as well now. Just has to wait for the assault to come on in. Tries to take the first shot down the long route. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite pay off, but Inters has an angle. Inters has a frag, and now that's going to relocate Inters with Shiro. They're going to swap places and try and roll with this one further. Unfortunately, Inters will not be allowed to do so. Smoke in his eyes, and now a bullet between them. Hurt Frisk also grabbing Hobbit. and leaving 4 versus 3. INDE IRAE looking for a much-needed T round, and it looks as if they're going to get it with the current state of affairs. Shiro trading 1 back, but again, not enough. For Nafani now 1 versus 3. Could be possible. Doesn't have a kit, but does have time. Unfortunately, not the space. Flowian takes him down. INDE IRAE take away one of those chances that Gambit has to close this game out.
It's damn close. INDE IRAE, I worry though for them that they are not going to be able to sustain momentum, and they're going to fall to or fail to find consecutive rounds here. Which, I mean, Gambit, they force buy straight back into this one. When I say force buy, they full buy. They invest everything they have. They have Shiro on that AWP yet again. They have the 4 and 4s. INDE IRAE, the 5 AKs. No AWP for them here on this T side yet. And I think if they fall 13-13 here, their economy is going to be really, really poor. They'll have the $2,900 coming in. Unless they get a bomb plant, that's not really going to facilitate a full buy. They probably have to concede 14-13 and then buy back after that. So, hugely impactful round to come through here. The flashbang. Inters will look away from it. Hurtfist wants to take the fight. Well, maybe shouldn't have. He does good damage, but can't find the kill. And now man advantage for Gambit as they're going to try and push in towards this B site, the INDE IRAE side. Nafani just on the other side of the smoke. He's going to be kissing somebody, but he's going to try and push through, and he gets 2 quick kills. Finally, Railway shuts him down, but huge amounts of damage done. And now Flowian and Railway, a 2 versus 4, have to try and find something to get them back into this one. Flowian's getting tagged down and will get finished off as well. That flashbang was just perfect. There's 1 versus 4. It's going to be 13 for Gambit here, surely.
And it will be. No longer surely. A very real reality right now. You get a quick replay of just exactly how that round started to open up for Inters and Nafani. That 2K on site was the one that really closed it. Nafani therefore stopping the bomb plant, making matters just all the more complicated for INDE IRAE as we waste no time before we get into round number 27. Incendiaries and the like flying over towards middle just to stop any progress from the INDE IRAE side. Shiro going to be patrolling out here and circumventing back in towards the A site for the time being, which seems to be INDE IRAE's direction. They've been bludgeoning B a fair amount over the last few rounds, and now they're feeling ready to go back in towards the A site. Smoke down at the mouth, Axile up on top. Tech9s is a little bit messy as he loses Hurtfrisk inside of all of the action, and now with that 1 frag found, it looks as like INDE IRAE are going to be a bit more willing to give a bit of space back now. Back over and out of the A site they go, with Railway starting to encroach onto this B site just a little bit. Has 1 player here for company. I believe that to be Nafani. So Railway is just going to keep himself in position on the right track. The locomotive soon to pull into the station. Railway needs to provide for the rest of his team. It's over towards this B site now. It seems that Gambit have got a bit of a read on this one. They've started to commit just a few more resources over. And with these smokes and flashbangs raining in, that'll be the affirmation that they needed, that this is the hit that's coming in. They're now going to pull all their resources over. All 4 of them, as a matter of fact. Nafani, does he go for something bold and brash here, like pushing through the smoke? Or maybe even just spraying enough to take Flowian down to 48 HP? Not enough to finish the job, but it's still risky. And as the smoke dissipates now, I'm not even sure who this is going to begin to favor. Nafani getting harassed and harangued towards the back of the site, but still able to come out with 2. Switches to the USP now as he calls for support from his teammates. The big engagement won by Hobbit, and Shiro finishes it off. Gambit take the lead, Dan.
First time they've taken the lead in this game so far, and I will say Nafani has stepped up massively as well, alongside Inters, and Shiro is now having a pretty banging game, all things considered. Gets a couple kills there, puts Gambit onto 14. I have no idea how he stays alive in this corner. He should just be dead. A little bit of a jiggle peek there, gets the shot. Shiro finishes things off just as the smoke begins to plume, and Gambit 14-13, but INDE IRAE with a bomb plant with a little bit of cash saved over from that previous round round as well, they're going to be able to go for the AKs. They've got the 5 AK-47s up, still no AWP. I wonder if that would maybe benefit them a little bit more to have Davcost on that weapon, but for now, they're just want to roll with the AK-47s, and already a first kill found by Nafani. It's X5 going down, and Inters is looking for a little bit of success himself, playing around this pillar inside of the site. Davcost might be mincemeat, and he is going to be served up on a nice platter as this X5, this INDE IRAE push has been thwarted. However, the kill onto Hobbit, he was trying to go for a little bit of a flank around the back lines of them, and he gets punished for that. So there is one frag in return. It's still the advantage for Gambit here, as they look to find 15. But INDE IRAE still within of a shout with this one.
In with a shout, but is it a far cry, Dan? We'll soon find out as into the site they go. Same setup once again, just this time they've forgotten to put a smoke down to stop Shiro, and he has stopped them in their tracks. Nearly all 3 frags found. Tried to go for a little bit of finesse onto Hurt Frisk for the clip, for the highlight reel, but even still, it's not to be. Nafani grabs that one up. 15-13 now. Gambit, with a frivolous and hard-fought game, have actually nearly pulled off a stonking comeback.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we mentioned the sort of CT side benefit on Ancient, and Gambit are living up to that right now. What is it, 11 rounds for them now on this this CT side? INDE IRAE need 2 more here to try and force OT, and that's aggressive from Exile. Unfortunately, he will get punished, and it's actually 2 for 2 in the end. Florian is trying to escape. Davcost doesn't want to let him go. Giving him a good talking to before he's allowed past. But a 3-on-3, it's still winnable for either side. Shiro's looking aggressive, though. He's finding so much intel. Need to be careful of Railway. Well, Fort might push towards the Snake, but instead will back away. So Shiro's going to be finding so much intel. Is he actually just going to go for the flank with the AWP? That is bold. Could pan out. Could also be a very, very bad idea. But it's into finding a kill inside the site that's going to give that Gambit side the advantage, and he'll just chill. Wait for Shiro's flank to come through, as these last 2 INDE IRAE players are already inside of this B site and getting that plant down. Don't want to set themselves up, but here comes Shiro. And for sure, he's going to find Florian. Surely he does. There you go. Frag secured. Now just Davcost alone. 1 versus 2. And he's getting shot from behind. No chance. It's Gambit who will pull off the 11, well, 12-4, in fact, comeback and secure it 16-13. Huge play, huge game from Gambit, all things considered. And they managed to get themselves the first win coming through. George,